My wife watches your show all the time, and she said she was going to write you a letter. Well, I figured it might take her a whole book, so I thought I'd make this video real quick. That's the house right there, and it has a few issues, but you can imagine if it took a whole book to write about it, well, there definitely would be a few issues. So I'll just tell you about them. Okay. The issues that's going on here is that when we moved in, we had like this mold problem. So we looked around to find the mold, and tore wallpaper off the walls. We did all that kind of stuff, and we found some mold, but it wasn't the main source. So it ended up the main source was in the kitchen. And it was in the kitchen underneath the dishwasher, which had been leaking forever because the house was vacant. When we moved in, it was a HUD home, as is for sale. But, I mean, I pulled a piece of mold out about this big. You know, it looked like a giant alien mushroom. And I pulled it out from under the dishwasher, which was busted, so we put in a new one. But then when I went to the back door, it wouldn't open right, and I discovered that the wood was rotted out and actually kind of fell almost. So I went down in the basement, and the whole floor was rotted out, so I tore it all out. Of course, by the dishwasher where the mold was, that wood was all rotted out, so I tore it all out, replaced all that wood by the door. The door still wouldn't close because the wall was crooked. So I went down in the basement and saw that there's like a crack there where water had been leaking in from the roof. So I went up on the roof and couldn't find a leak, but there was this little tiny leak right near the chimney, and it looked like it had been leaking for like 15 years. So I plugged that up, replaced that wood underneath the roof, which needed to be replaced, the new tiles and so forth, and then everything seemed good. But I discovered when I went to replace, to fix the door, that the screws that you should put in for the door should be like about, say, that long. Well, he used screws that were that long, okay? And then there was another place where there was like this this major joist, so to speak, and it was loose. And so I went to pull the screw out, or the nail out, and the nail was like about this long, and it should have been about that long. I mean, I don't get it. Whoever built this house just did it weird, you know. The light switches are in the wrong place, and they go the wrong way. And, you know, it's just, the workmanship is crap. And the lights, replacing the light bulbs about every 2 weeks, it seems like. Then finally half the lights went out. Turns out that the panel, you know, needed new breakers, put new breakers in, still didn't fix it. So it looked like they were corroded or whatever. So, you know, some of the stubs where you put the circuit breaker into the panel kind of corroded because it was leaking. They didn't seal the panel right, so from the outside coming in, it would leak. It would got rusty. And I couldn't move the breaker because the wire wasn't long enough, so I called the company to come out and do it. And they came out initially, and I told them I just wanted to move the breakers down to a better spot. And they started on the work, and then they stopped, and they came up and said, we can't do it. And I said, why? They said, because these wires aren't in the conduit. These wires were run after the house was built. So it's going to cost you $5,000 to do the work. And, of course, I told them no, so my wife just ran an extension cord from one room to the other so that my son could have electricity. See, it's that kind of a deal. So it's still like that. And you can see, like, where I'm at in this room right here, I don't know if you can see the ceiling or the roof or not, but it should be all nice tile, but there's tiles mixed with stuff because of when I tried to tear out the mold. The whole house isn't destroyed or anything. It's just that where there's something that's heavy that needs to be mounted on the wall, it has dinky screws. And where there's like a picture hanger or something, it'll have like a 16-penny nail. So if you're really looking for a challenge and someone willing to cooperate with you, just give my wife a call. She's going to send you a letter. And we live in that little cul-de-sac right there in a house that's got, you know, nice siding on the outside and a decent roof, really nice neighborhood. It's got a garage, sort of like a basement, and then the main floor and a floor up above it like that. We'd like to have you. Anyways, I thought I'd do this instead of, you know, seeing my wife have to make a whole video on the deal. Hope to talk to you soon. Be cool.